Hello everyone. Today our topic is all about meat. So the objectives of this topic is to identify the different primal cuts and subprimal cuts of meat and describe the effect of each in cooking. Describe the market forms of meat and cooked meat. Introduction to fabrication. So before anything else, why is it important to understand basic meat fabrication? So we can answer that in the next slide. Meat cutting or fabrication is the process of cutting, boning, and portioning large cuts of meats to menu specifications. When we say menu specification, it is a type of cuts of meat and how it is used to the cooking process. Kay diba, daghan biya kaayo taog ka ng klase-klase nga ginaluto. So every cut of the meat is nakalaan na sa iya nga recipe. Dili pasabot na kanang bisag unsa lang nga types of meat ng types of cut of meat ang imuhang gamiton sa lain-lain nga dish. So, it is to clarify on the selection of meat para mapili nimo nga kani siya nga cut of meat is para ani nga dish, ani nana. Thus, learning the appearance and formation of major cuts along the basic structure helps in fabricating as well as cooking. So butchering means cutting an entire animal into large cuts known as primal cuts. Subsequent cuts are made to fabricate the primal cut into a variety of smaller cuts known as subprimal or wholesale cuts. So from the carcass or the dead body of, for example, the beef, so the carcass of that will be cut into large pieces, and that is what we call the primal cuts. And the primal cuts will be cut into pieces, and that will be called subprimal cuts or the sale cuts. So mo na siya ito makita sa mga wet market like mga kanang gabaligya o kanang karne, inana. So to fabricate meat is to cut large pieces of meat into smaller ones. There are three main meat categories. So we have the red meat, poultry, and seafood. First one is the red meat. All livestock is considered red meat. This includes beef, pork, goat, and lamb. While in poultry, commonly referred to as white meat, poultry includes chicken and turkey. In seafood, yes, seafood is also considered as a meat because it is described as the flesh of mammals, and they are only the one who is a cold-blooded animals of the edible bunch. That includes fish as well as crustaceans like crab and lobster, and mussels like clams, oysters, scallops, and mussels. Meat, poultry, and fish are the most expensive component of the food budget in any food service operation. Chefs perform meat in-house fabrication to control sizes and ensure quality of cut all the time. Because as we all know, dili gyud mawala ang meat sa bisag unsa nga dish, gawas o vegetarian ka or vegetable ang dish nga i-serve sa imuha kay wala jud siya meat. But most of the time, restaurants or any food establishments always serves meat and dili dyan na siya mawala sa table. And yes, chefs perform meat house fabrication para ilang ma-ensure ang quality nga i-serve sa mga customers kung unsa ang sakto nga meat nga types cut of meat nga i-serve sa guest para mas tsada ang presentation and of course ang service ng ihatag sa mga customers. So,
the next one is understanding meat. The first one is beef. So under this is tenderloin. The tenderloins among beef, veal, lamb, or pork loin, rib, foreleg, and hind leg have similarities. The general division of animal, which are the loin, leg, rib, shoulder, are the same whether it's leg of veal or lamb. The fabrication procedure for one applies to the others. Tenderloins are the most expensive and tender. They also have the most delicate cuts. Procedure of fabricating tenderloin. First, using a very sharp knife, Lift and pull away the fat covering. This enables you to pull away the fat covering easily, and the blade of the boning knife is used to steady the tenderloin as the fat cover is pulled away. Second is pull and cut away the strip of fat and meat known as a chain. This clean trim excess fat can be used in different preparations including stocks, broth, sauces, or for ground meat items. Remove the tough membrane known as the silver skin, for it is not edible meat. Last one is work the tip of a boning knife under the silver skin and hold it tight meat. Glide the knife blade just underneath, angling the blade upward slightly so that your cuts move toward the tail as much as possible.
Good day, everyone. My assigned topic is menu cuts. The following terms are associated primarily with the beef tenderloin. First is Chateaubriand, a thick cut taken from the middle of the fillet that weighs approximately 10 ounces. The term refers more properly to a specific recipe than a cut from the tenderloin. Chateaubriand is a traditional dish that comprises of a large center-cut tenderloin fillet cooked between two smaller meat pieces that are discarded after cooking. This is the most delicious, delicate beef, roast, and kinisya na dish is ideal for kanang mga special events and holidays with mild, delicate beef flavor and exceptional tenderness. Next is tornado, a cut from the thinner end of the tenderloin. They are rounder than the filet mignon cut and are usually cut into pieces. It weighs 4 ounces. Tornado is a small round pieces of beef cut from the end portion of beef tenderloin, ug kasagara siya ginaluto kauban ang bacon, and also ginaserve ni siya with a variety of sauces and garnish. Last is filet mignon, a cut from the tenderloin nearest to the end. The term mignon means something small or delicate. It usually weighs 5 ounces apiece. Filet mignon has a lighter flavor than other cuts of beef. Usahay, ginaserve siya with a sauce or wrapped in bacon. Filet mignon is the most expensive cut of meat kay tungod sa limited amount of filet mignon that can be killed from each animal. Cuts produced from the loin or tenderloin of other animals are generally referred to as follows. First is medallion, second is noisette. Medallion. It is a cut in the same manner as beef tornadoes. The term medallion or filet medallion refers to the way the meat is cut by the butcher. To make filet medallion, a butcher cut filet into smaller, thicker rounds rather than one huge filet. This cut, it allows us to make or prefer filet mignon in a variety of ways, such as in dishes that call for smaller beef portions. The second one is noisette, a cut from the tenderloin or loin that is smaller than medallion. Noisette is a little medallion produced from the eye muscle of the lamb's loin, which is located in the lumbar part of the animals, also known as the saddle. It is the flavorful, lean cut ug dali ra siya lutoon. It is usually pan-fried, pwede po siya i-grilled. Cutting chops. Chops and sticks are made from bone-in cuts such as rib and loin. A saw is necessary to cut through bones. Cut between each rib bone with a scimitar of sheath knife to make individual chops. Chops is smaller cuts from the loin primal cut. They are individual serving cuts that are sliced to various thicknesses. The thickness chosen kay depende siya on how they will be prepared. They come first, fresh, smoked, and bone-in or boneless, with quality and composition varied depending on where they are on the loin. They are sometimes available pre-cooked, ready to heat and serve, as well as pre-stuffed.
Next topic is cuts of meat from a beef loin. Butchers cut T-bone steaks and porterhouse steaks from the beef loin primal cut. Both steaks include a T-shaped lumbar vertebra with sections of abdominal internal oblique muscle on each side. A quartered beef carcass yields primal cuts such as the rib, the chuck, and the beef loin. Butchers break them down into subprimal cuts such as tenderloin, shortloin, and sirloin. First, we have tenderloin. Tenderloin is an elongated stretch of muscle located on the either side of the spine. This meat cut is commonly used because of its tenderness. Small portions of fillet from the tail end of the tenderloin are known as filet mignon, and large roast-sized cuts are commonly found in the market form as Chateaubriand. Then we have strip loin. It is a subprimal cut, also known as top loin. It consists of muscle that does little work, making the meat particularly tender but not as tender as the tenderloin. Next is top loin crosscuts. Crosscuts from the top loin include steaks that contain meat from more than one subprimal cut, such as the porterhouse and the T-bone. As the name implies, the top loin steak comes from the top portion of the short loin primal cut, which runs from the cow's last rib to the top of the leg bone. Then we have sirloin. Sirloin steaks originated from the top butt or upper portion of the sirloin muscle. It has moderate marbling and modicum tenderness that is very affordable and best in slow cooking techniques like braising and stewing. Then the last one is sirloin crosscuts. It contains a portion of meat from the hindquarter of a short loin. These parts vary widely in general quality, tenderness, and flavor. Next is pork primal cuts. Pork has 4 primals: the pork leg primal, the pork loin primal, the pork shoulder primal, then the last one is the pork belly primal. First is the pork leg primal. It includes the leg butt portion, the leg shank portion, the ham, hack, and the foot. The pork loin primal includes the loin rib end, loin center, and sirloin, while the pork loin shoulder primal has subprimals of shoulder blade, shoulder picnic, and jowl. Then the last one is the pork belly primal, which has no subprimal, all of which are shown in the illustration, and each cut has different techniques or ways of cooking. For example, in pork leg primal, we have hams. So this is the same ham we used to prepare during Christmas season. And in the pork belly, this is best for roasting and frying.
How to tie meat. Tying your meat with kitchen string will hold the shape of meat and keep stuffings intact. It is often done with a continuous knot called a chain hitch. So by tying our meat, the filling that we put inside the meat will keep it intact. First, cut an 8-foot length of kitchen string. Second, wrap a loop around the roast and tie a knot. Hold the string totally above the knot and bring the long end of the string away and around the roast, then pull gently until one link in the chain is done. Third, repeat the same step with even spacing of 2 inches apart until the roast is completely tied.
Methods of cooking meat. Methods of cooking meat include dry heat and moist heat. In dry heat, it includes roasting, broiling, pan frying, stir frying, and outdoor grilling. While on moist heat, it includes braising and cooking in liquid. We have here a sample recipe, which is the beef roulade. Here are the ingredients and the procedures. You may screenshot it or follow the procedures in your cooking outputs. We have also here other recipes such as lumpia wrapper basket, beef bulgogi, Korean sesame steak, grilled T-bone steak, classic beef tenderloin kurma, beef tenderloin with chocolate sauce, pork ham, pork tenderloin with apples, mechado con chocolate, and classic pork lean estofado. We will just post the procedures and recipes on a PDF, and we will post it with this PowerPoint presentation. Thank you very much. Once again, we are the group MEAT, and have a nice day.